All right, welcome back. So what we're going to do now is over here in the game, I'm going to start to add in a drawing and purchasing phase. So these are the different gems that you can collect, and everything gets randomized. So we're going to start to add in some logic here for setting this. So what I want to do is have a count. Right, hold on. How do I want to do this? So I'm going to make a new dictionary here, and I want to have key value pairs on this, so it's going to be a gem type and then a quantity. And now for I that goes to my enum dot get names of a type of gem type dot length, I want to do a dictionary dot add a gem type of I and also a 0. So now what I want to do is get all the gems, and so for each one of the gems I want to do a dictionary dot let's see, what do I want? I want to do a dictionary C# remove single element by key. No, we don't want to remove it. I just want to get single element by key. It's just this. So the dictionary of my gem.gem type, this should be giving me a integer, right? Dot value. There we go. So you could just do this plus equals to my 1. And now what I want to do is for each, so for I goes to my gem chant scripts.length, and we want to set the quantity here to be my so when I look at my gem chants script, which is a set quantity so now it's this dot quantity dot text is equal to quantity. But what I do also want to have is this variable saved. Like this. What is going on? I'm getting poked by something. Weird. Okay. And this is going to be called tier gem chance SO. And so now here, I want to set the quantity to my dictionary of type gem chance scripts of I dot tier gem chance dot tier dot gem type. And that should be it. Okay, so let's check it. So now when the game plays, when I get a line with a gem in it, you can see now it's keeping track of the number that I've received. Here, it didn't reset back to 0. So when you set your gem chances, we also want to say your quantity dot text is equal to 0. And there we go. We can see we got 2. Now, when it init, it reset everything. So I don't want that. We just want to have an init. And then the same thing here. And then we're going to reference this here. So in init, we can do a gem chance container script dot init. And also on your reset game here, we want to do the gem chance container script dot init. That should do it. Okay. No. Let me see here. We should get 3 and 2, and we do. And when we go to a new board, it reset. So you're calling the init 3 times. One here. Go to the next round, we're calling init. So what I want to have here is a bool should reset. We're going to say is new game. So if it is a new game, then we're going to do the init. So this one's definitely a false. This one is a true. This one is a true. Okay. When we go to the next map, everything's persisted now. So we should get 1 purple. Yep, looks good. Okay, eventually I'm going to have something with the number of these maybe. But let's go ahead and add in our purchase. So for those, we're going to need to have some new scriptable objects for this. So in here, we're going to first start with a script. And I want this to be a draw SO. Okay, and in this, we're only going to have a couple of things. We're going to have a piece SO called a piece. I want to have a pattern, which is going to be a public enum draw pattern type. We could just say draw type, draw piece type, and we want to have this as a 2 same color, 3 same color, and same color 4. Now I'm going to clean this up, and then we can get rid of this stuff down here. And we're going to extend draw SO because we're going to have a couple of different types. So one's going to be called draw piece SO. So that goes down here. And then this is a draw piece type. This is now an abstract class. And this one's going to have something called a public enum called draw type. And we're going to mostly use reflection, but this is just for when I deserialize and serialize things with the server. And we're going to add in here a piece. Okay. And so also we want to do the same thing here, where we're going to assign it for our individual instances. And then I'm going to want to have a class that's serializable. And I'm going to say that this is a draw piece cost. And this is going to have a public piece I want it to be a gem type. And we can do this with a scriptable object. And then also a quantity. And so that way you can have on here a public draw piece cost called cost. Now we can use inheritance correctly here by moving cost to here. That looks good. So back in the game, we're going to create these objects. Call this a draws folder. And I'm going to say that this is a draw piece, just as an example. The cost will be 2 of our, now we don't want to do it by gem, I want to do it by tier. So tier type. So here, on this piece, we want to say it costs 4 tier 1, and that's it. Let's just use 2 for now and make the other one 2. Tier 2. And we can choose the piece that we want, which we can use a T. And that's it. for now. So we'll add that to the database. So now in my board, nope, in my UI, when I am starting here, we can run the init, which is going to set these draws. And then here we can set them. So what I want to do is now I want to do a var so equals a scriptable, come on, scriptable object factory. And we want to create instance of a new piece, draw piece, so. And then we're going to say var selected prefab is equal to my scriptable object dot. Piece type, and I want to get my piece script prefabs dot first or default x, where my piece type because that's going to have a piece on it. Like that. Come on. Like that. And then you want to instantiate your prefab. So is there like a draw.set draw piece? Oh, let's just see what happens here. Yeah, it's setting it down here. And now it's grabbing it from your... Let's try this, okay? Okay, let's go ahead and enable this container now and see what happens. Didn't create any of it. That looks right. Okay, let's check it again, see what happens. I got 3 draws. If my piece is null, and it is, then I'm going to create this SO, which is a same color of T. I'm going to get the one piece type. Now it failed because it says the piece in, which one is it looking at there? Come on, microphone. That should be better. So if I look at my piece scripts, these are called the piece SOs. And on my prefabs, I don't have that thing marked. So currently, when it's instantiating a piece, it's not even using a scriptable object. So we're going to go look at my piece script and add on here a public piece type called piece type. Okay. So back here, we can now set this one to be an I, J, L, O, S, T, and Z. And there they are. So when I look at this grid, the size of my grid compared to the drawers is the same. So is it that my camera doesn't have the script on it at the moment? So on my prefabs for a drawer, my camera's got this camera drawer script. And so on the draw, we're going to add the camera drawer script. And try that again. So you need to set a nit on that. So if I look at my drawer script, where I'm invoking the init, so now you're instantiating draw here, and you want to do a draw.init. You want to call it on your prefab when you're instantiating this. Where is it? If I look at my camera draw script, this thing gets called here. Here. On drawer script. So you should have on draw script the same thing, where we're going to have the camera, draw script, and the background referenced. And then down here we can just do the init. Boom, fixed. So now when I look at my draw, I want to have my background here in my camera, and now we should work. Ta-da! And so these are our purchase panels, and they should scale with screen size. And once they hit the certain size, then they are scrollable. So let's add a button in here next to this color percent container. And I'm going to make a new empty game object here. And I'm going to say this is my right panel. And on this, I want to put this at 111.9.9.5 minus 15. minus 10, and then 30. Okay. Hey there, Metershem. It's been a bit. How are you doing? I don't have sound requests running at the moment because I'm recording all these and putting them up on YouTube. It's been a while, man. How are you doing? So we're going to dump this on here. And then I want to add on here a horizontal layout group. And I want to add on a UI button. It doesn't seem to be very happy with the way I'm doing that. So can we just do something hacky and just add a button like that? That's not going to work. What I really want is for this... What I really want is for this to have the button right next to it here. But we could put it over on the side. So let's do that. Let's add a new UI button. And I'll move the anchor to be at 1, 1, 1. And we can make the width like 30 or like 45 by 45. We can get rid of the text on it. We need an icon for it. So let me quickly look up a store icon or a... Let's do, we already have plenty of these things. So we're going to say that this is my gem store button. And we'll put a game resource of this diamond on it. We can always change this later to be a different icon, but we'll use this for now. Okay, so when we do that, I want to set in my UI script I want to say the draw container script dot game object dot set active is false. And on here we're going to say public virtual void on draw container button clicked. All I want to do is if my draw container script dot game object dot active self, then you want to set it. We could just do this all in one line and do GameObject.setActive to my draw container script.GameObject.activeSelf, and we want to do it as the opposite. And now back over here. The button is going to run the script on the parent called onDrawButtonClick. There we go. So now we have our store popping up, but it's not displaying yet how much things cost. One other thing I want is on the purchasable draw, my number of draws. I'm going to set that to be 7. Only did 3 still. There we go. And if I was, we can now scroll like this. It's good that it's only pulling the T's here. And now what I want to do is open up my draw prefab. And when I look at this, we want to have a new game object called score. We're going to say that this is a cost. And so we're going to put this at like 20 and 20 here. And then at 20, so it sits on top. And let's add a horizontal layout group to it. And then a image. And then a sprite. With a gem on it. Okay, so like that. And my sprite, we want to make it like 0.5, 0.05. Maybe a little bit bigger, 0.065. And I'll put this right at 0, 0. This cost size is going to be 0, 0. Now, the horizontal layout group isn't going to work because this is a transform. That's okay. So we could just do this and then move it over like 0.05 of a unit to the 0.5 of a unit to the 0.1 of a unit to the left. And we're going to say that this is my image or sprite. And then we want another one here, which is the second. When I look at this prefab, it's got two pieces that make it up, right? The first piece is up here on the board on the UI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this draw I can just go back to making this a horizontal layout group. It's 0, 0, which has a image and a text. We'll put these at the middle center. Make everything fit. So we can add a little bit of spacing here. And then in this image we can add the like a diamond with a preserved ratio. We don't need it raycastable. Okay, and now, there we go, fixing the microphone again. And now on the text, on this we can just set this to be 20 and 20, right? Because it doesn't... That's what we want. We want it like this. And on this one, we want to set my overflow or my wrapping to be disabled. Change the font. Change the size. Put it in the middle. Interesting. Very interesting that it's adding that gap. So like 45. In this text we can say that it's 2. Let's change this size just a little bit. That looks pretty good. Okay, and when I look at my whole raw image here, we're going to put this draw on it. Okay. This whole thing looks like it could be a little bit bigger. And then the amount should be a little bit bigger. That's a little bit too large. Okay. And now what I can do is I can put this under draws. And back over here now we can make a new script, call it a cost script. And all we need on this is a image for my gem type image and a public text mesh pro u GUI for the quantity. So when you do this, and I'm looking on a draw, it needs to have a public cost script, call it a cost script prefab. And then here you want to have a collection of cost script called cost scripts. And now you want to have one which is called create costs. So what I want to do is look at my piece. And I need to know the cost SO. So here, okay, so the costs are all on this draw piece SO. Okay. Yeah, let's also leave that piece script. And now what you want to do is, what the hell is going on? Okay. So for the create costs here, I'm going to look at my draw piece dot costs, and this is an array. So for each one of those in draw piece dot costs, I want to instantiate a prefab called my cost prefab or something, cost script prefab, on top of this transform. And we want to do one of those. And now I want to do we want to have a public virtual void set cost. We could just call this a init. And I want to pass in here a draw piece SO. And all you're going to do is gem type image dot sprite is equal to the draw piece dot because it's just as easy to add that. Well, no, because the image comes from the tier. Okay, which means that I need to get the tier on the game. So, so I think I have something on here called tiers. And we can select the tier where the tier type is equal to your draw piece dot. And this is a draw SO dot draw piece cost. Tier type. And then here you can set your gem type image dot sprite is equal to my gem dot So isn't there another one called gem tiers or something? No, it's just tiers. So this is going to tell me my gem type. And this is going to be a tier. So now I want to go into the factory and I want to create an instance of a gem of type gem type. And now it's going to be gem.sprite. And then quantity is equal to your draw piece cost.quantity.toString. So when we init this, we want to pass in my item here and then my game. Looks good. This is now going to be your SO, your piece, and your game. So we'll get rid of this cost here. I want to add on here a cost script, which is an image and an amount. And then I want to put that on my draw like that. Okay, let's see what happens here. When I draw it, it looks like I need to put a cost on this one. There we go. Now, I really want those costs to be at the bottom there, and I want to make sure that when I scroll, they do move correctly. So I want to make the costs be in a container. So on draw, if I look at my image, and this is going to be called a cost container. And on this, you want to put it on the bottom here. And you want to add a horizontal layout group to it. which has a cost in it. Okay, so let's put this thing at like 20. It's saying that the image here doesn't have a width. Because this one that looked right. And I want this to be in the middle center. I think that'll work. And so up here we want to have a public transform called the cost script parent. Cost script parent. There. Okay. Let's try it again. When we click on it, now we can see that we can purchase any of these. And they have a cost associated with them, and we can scroll them. That looks good. So we're getting there. We need to add in a notification for when you try to make a purchase here. Exception not set. Weird. That doesn't make any sense. Same thing. So you're knitting a block script. It's this. You don't need this here. Alrighty, Johnny 5. See you next time. Because this is where blocks should be being created. Interesting. It's also interesting it's putting blocks as prefabs now in the pool. So right now in UI script, or in Game Manager, when you go and you instantiate all your items here, and here you go to the next round. So that put all the blocks in the pool. So on your piece placed, here, okay, and so when this is done, you also calculate the lines. Check for lines here. Here, you're saying that you're now putting this object in the pool. Let's just destroy it. Perfect. Now I don't need to worry about those things anymore because they're very lightweight. That'll probably fix a lot of what I was just experiencing. Nope. Same issue. And which one is it? Is it the scriptable object or is it the sprite renderer? Because why is it and knitting? That's what's weird. Okay, so what's airing? Sprite renderer. Why would sprite renderer be null? Why would it be going null? Because I thought every single piece has been created new. So let me test something here. If I look at my UI and I turn this off, yeah, it is definitely from the redraw of the, okay. This is doing your piece.init. Is that it? Is that it's not ever being activated, so it never has a reference? Not very good. This one's going to fail. All right, let's try again. I think it's fixed now. Because it never had it turned on. Looks good. This one is saying that it's using tier what? It says tier 1. So it's not creating the right one for that. Draw piece SO. Piece is the T. Tier 1. Okay, so here my tier type is tier 1. says it should be a diamond and red. Tier 1, though, is not diamonds. It's that green thing. Why is it saying it's that one? Let's try it again. Tier 1 is the emerald. Tier 2 is the ruby. Tier 3 is the amber. But that's not at all what these are showing up here. And that's also not what is happening with my instantiation of those gems. Because I think this has to go first. And that's it. No. This is so weird. We're going to call it, though, in just a second. I'm getting tired for a little bit. If I look at game here, we should have two different things here. We have these tiers, yellow, red, blue. And then we also have these rounds. Yellow is the first one. Red is the second one. Right? But that's not right, because tier 1 you say is a ruby. So is it on the other side? when you're setting your drawer, it's here under create blocks. If I look at a tier, does that mean that this is getting screwed up? I'm going to be done here in just a second, I think. Because this one is tier 1, orange, amber. All right, we'll call that good for today. We made some good progress. I'll push out the newest version a little bit. If you have any questions, make sure you pop them into our chat at discord.pixelhorrorstudios.com. I also put all these videos up at youtube.pixelhorrorstudios.com. Thanks again, guys, and have a great rest of your day. All righty.